if I don't have no money, I would just shut up. Like, first of all, before I even get into anything, I have to tell y'all how stupid I am. Like, I'm actually dumb. So tell me why, right? I'm coming home from Walmart and my husband, because everybody gets their panties in a bunch when I say boyfriend, his brother is over our house. Well, he's spending the night anyway. He's spending the night, and him and my boyfriend husband went to the gym. So he left his car in our driveway. So he drives like a mom car. He drives an Infinity mom car. And so I'm driving home. I completely slips my mind that this man is like at our house or like staying the night, right? So I'm driving, and I'm like driving down the street, and I'm like passing, you know, my house. And so I see my neighbor, who I'm like, well, I was friendly. That's neither here nor there. I was friendly with him. Now he doesn't talk to me, but whatever. So I saw my neighbor, who I did not register that it was my neighbor, outside on his lawn. Like, he was spraying down his driveway. So I'm like passing by, and I'm like, where am I? Like, did I miss the turn or something? So like, I literally drive down the street, and I'm looking at the street sign, because there's like a stop sign at the end of the street. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, this is my street. Like, what the hell? So then I turn around. Mind you, everyone's outside. Like, it's pretty much summer. It's 5 o'clock. Like, everybody's outside. So like, I had to like make a U-turn, and all my neighbors are watching me, and then my actual neighbors outside witnessed me completely miss my house, and I had to make a U-turn. And I turned into my house. It's so embarrassing, because I was actively like looking at my neighbor like through the windshield when I was passing by the house. So like, he saw that, like, he saw me drive by the house and then like make the U-turn of shame back to my house, realizing that it was in fact my house. So those are the vibes for this video. Embarrassing. Anyway, how are y'all doing? I hope y'all are doing way better than me. So embarrassing. Anyway, I hope y'all are doing way better than me, and y'all are actually using your brains. But anywho, how's everybody doing? Please excuse my absence. Last week, I was in Nashville, and I was living my best life, okay? I went to go see Janet Jackson with my sister, and before that concert, I could not tell you not one Janet Jackson song. You could have had a gun to my head. I could not think of one. But my sister wanted to go, and so we went, and Ludacris was her opener, and I definitely feel like that concert like really made me a concert girly, because we went to the one, the concert was in the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. So like, if you guys are familiar, and it's like a really big stadium, and they have seats and stuff. Like, the only other concerts that I've been to, you had to stand the entire time, and it's just like not a vibe. But it was just so fun. Like, that Janet Jackson concert was such a vibe. Like, it was so just like, everybody was just having a good time. It was, you know, Ludacris went crazy. Oh my God, I went crazy when Ludacris came out. And like, Janet Jackson, her performance, like, like, everything was just amazing. So y'all, I think I'm a concert girly now. Like, I'm definitely gonna look into going into concerts. Definitely at the Bridgestone too, because like, we got nachos, we got popcorn, we had seats. We were just having a really, really good time. And so yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Like, it's kind of over with. If like my favorite performers are gonna be in Nashville, I'm just gonna fly to Nashville, because Miami is just too intense for me. Like, I'm not into like the Miami scene. But Nashville was a vibe. So sorry for not posting. I was out here living my life. So Anyway, I thought I'd make it up with a story time of the most annoying coworker ever in my life. Like, oh my God. And I just drank a Red Bull, so I feel like I'm on it. I'm like ready to make a video. I'm ready to talk to y'all. Because I did my makeup earlier today, and when I was trying to record, I was just too tired. So now, let me just powder myself. Now I'm just really feeling it. So let me tell y'all about this girl, because I have made a video talking about her like briefly in I think it was like a Target haul like way back when, and I've alluded to her in some of my other story times, but I was like, you know what, let me tell you guys a story, because I stopped getting on Facebook, and I recently got back on it because a girl that I went to high school with was like missing, and I just wanted to see if she was like found, because that's like really crazy. And so I wanted to like check out if she was found or not. So everybody was posting, like reposting the screenshot of their Facebook, of the original Facebook post. So I was like, let me get on my Facebook. That has been the first time, because I had to get off Facebook in 2020 because everybody was, I found out who my friends were that day, okay? So I had to get off Facebook because it was just getting too much and too intense for me. And you know how Facebook likes to do the whole people you may know situation? It really should be relabeled people you're trying to forget. Because this girl came up, and I'm like, why have I not made a video on her shenanigans? She deserves a whole video, to be honest, because oh my God, not a good person. I hope she's evolved, and I hope she's changed since then. So girl, if you ever come across this video, I'm going to talk about the 2018 version of you. I hope you are not the same. Just please. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? I'm already 6 minutes into this video, and I haven't even started the story, but I hope you guys are okay with that. So let's go ahead and get started. So this goes all the way back to my OG salon, the one that has all the crazy story times, because that salon was crazy. So we are gonna start off. I was fresh out of cosmetology school, freshly 19. I had just turned 19, and I had gotten hired at this salon. So my manager was always super cool. I have nothing bad to say about my manager. I feel like sometimes she was kind of like in La La Land, but I have nothing bad to say about my manager. So when she like would introduce me to people, she was very, very friendly. So when I first got hired, she's like walked me around the salon, and she started introducing me to everybody in the salon. This girl, we are going to call her Gretchen, definitely in a reference to Mean Girls, because she was a wannabe Gretchen Wieners, or is that her name? I don't know. But the Gretchen girl, she was her so bad. I go make my rounds around the salon, and she introduces me to Gretchen. So mind you, it's me, it's Gretchen, and then it's my manager. So I'm a very friendly person just off rip, because I don't feel like you need to be rude to people when you first meet them, right? So I was like, hey, like, I'm Samantha. And she was like, hi, I'm Gretchen. And one thing about her was she was very nice, nasty, like very much Gretchen. Like, she was so like, I don't even know how to explain it, where it was like very condescending, but like she wanted to be nice. And we're gonna get into her actual aura and everything in a second. But my first encounter with her, I was like, oh, like, hi, my name is Samantha. She's like, hi, I'm Gretchen. And I was like, oh, like, are you from here? Whatever, just, you know, making follow-up statements when you first meet somebody. And like, this is what I'm talking about. I'll be like, oh, are you from here? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, like, did you go to school around here? Like, and you know, typically if somebody's asking like, oh, are you from here? Did you go to school here? Like, you would kind of follow up with like, yeah, I'm from here, or I moved here. I went to school at so-and-so school, like, you know, kind of like a typical conversation. And so I'm like, oh, are you like, did you go to school around here? And she was like, yeah, I did. So mind you, my manager is like witnessing this whole conversation between us two, and it's just so awkward. Like, okay, like, it's like pulling teeth to get like any kind of like rapport with her. So I just chalked it up as like, okay, like maybe she's weird, I don't know. So whatever, that was my first encounter with her. I didn't think much of it. I was just like, okay, like freak, but I didn't think too into it really. So as I'm like, you know, observing in the salon, this is like the first couple of days, mind you, I start noticing that like no one in the salon likes her. Like they all make fun of her. And I didn't understand it, because when I say they were making fun of her, it was like she would isolate herself and then everybody would basically just like, I don't even want to say talk shit, because it was, but it wasn't. It was more so just making fun of her, to be honest. And so I was just a little confused. I'm like, wow, like no one in the salon likes you. Like, what did you do to all these people? And so as I'm like working there, like as the days and the weeks are going on, I'm noticing that she like really isolates herself. She doesn't talk to anybody. She leaves every time for lunch, like no, like in the morning. And that's another thing too. Like she was also like very rude, like in a like social setting. Maybe it's the Southern hospitality in me, but like when you walk into a room and there's a group of people, you speak. We would all be in the front, right? Or like we would have meetings and she would come in late, right? She would come in late and she just would not say anything. And like my manager would be like, hey, like Gretchen, like good morning, blah, blah. And she just, as if no one said anything to her. Okay? So these are the vibes that she's giving, right? So I had to shadow under her while I was doing my bootleg apprenticeship. So I had to shadow under her. So as I'm shadowing under her, once again, it's just very like, oh, so like, what are we doing on the client today? Well, as you know, she's down for a retouch, so we're gonna retouch. That's how she spoke. Like that's exactly like. And it's like, okay, so like, what's the formula that you're using? I'm just using a basic formula, like a basic 7N, that's it. Like, okay, so I'm just gonna awkwardly stand next to you because you don't want to talk to me and like, you're just making it weird. So because you're gonna do that, like, I'll just awkwardly stand next to you, you know? This is editor's cut, but the reason why I was like kind of thrown off by her attitude was because when she would talk to her clients, she would be like, hey, what's going on? Like, yes, so happy to see you. Are you doing good? I'm so happy to do that. So it was just like, how are you so like, oh my God, to your clients? And then you like, it was like a switch with her, like weirdo. So during this time, it was like November, December-ish, because I remember there was our like Christmas party. Our salon was doing a Christmas party. So while I was shadowing under her, I was like, oh, like, do you go to the Christmas parties? Like, how are they here? Like, I'm just trying to make conversation because my manager had made it like, she had brought it up. And so I was like, oh, do you like the Christmas parties? Like, how are the Christmas parties here or whatever? Because I had never been to one. And she was like, honestly, like, I find better things to do with my time than to just, you know, get wasted on a weekend, especially at a work Christmas party. And that's her personality. Like, that is literally what I'm talking about. So I'm just like, oh, so you don't go? And she was like, no, I don't drink and I don't really like to do the stuff that they like to do. And like I said, they just use it as an excuse to get like drunk. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, okay, like, cool. And me, I don't really push the issue on certain things about like drinking, smoking, cursing, all that stuff. I don't push the issue. If you say you don't drink, I'm not gonna ask you why, because to be honest, it's not my business. And to be really honest, I don't care why you don't. So I just kind of left it at that, didn't really say anything. Now, here is one of the things that like I feel, I guess I'll say this now. She was very involved in her church. Yes, Gretchen Wiener's the really rude, nice, nasty, uppity girl. Of course she's involved in the church. And I grew up in the church, so I know. I know the girls, okay? So she was very, very involved in her church, and she was actually like ahead of the youth ministry or whatever. I feel, this is just my personal hypothesis, She was one of those people that hung around really young people. Mind you, I was 19 at the time. I think she was like 27, 28. So significantly older than me. And she was hanging out with high schoolers, which I think it's weird. Girl, boy, whether you're friends with people, whether you date people, I don't really care. I just find it to be weird. I don't ever hang out with people younger than me, let alone in high school, especially like that. And I was 19 and you wouldn't see me at no high school. So, and I just felt like the thing was like her friends, like these are not just like, oh, you're a youth leader or something. Like, no, her friends were in high school. So I always thought that was weird about her. But my hypothesis on why she didn't like me was because I didn't act like a little naive high schooler that wanted like a mentor, big sis type of thing. I just always got that vibe from her because she was kind of nice to me at the beginning, but the way she shifted was crazy. But I just feel like she tried to take me under her wing. Like, that's the vibe she wanted to give off. I'm telling you, her vibes were all over the place. Her aura was all the colors of the rainbow. So, like, I just felt like she wanted to take me under her wing. And when I gave off the vibes, like, no, girl. First of all, that's weird. Second of all, I am not interested in things like, I'm into secular things, okay? And, like, when she started to get to know me more and, like, my personality, she kind of shut that down. And, like, she started treating me differently because I wasn't one of these little kids that she could just, like, mentor and manipulate, to be real. Because I don't know, that's just how I feel about people that hang out with people significantly younger. Like, what at you at 27 do you have to talk, like, what do you have in common with a 17-year-old? Like, it's just weird. I don't know. So that was my hypothesis on why she didn't like me. But I do want to preface this that she was like really into church and she was really into being like her youth counselor or whatever. So fast forward, we start working together and I am really seeing like her personality. And I'm just like, wow, okay, like now I see why people make fun of you, because she had this thing where she spoke like she was just so above everybody. Just like the Christmas party incident where it was just like, you just had to say it was not your thing. That's all you had to say. Or like, I don't know, I don't hang out with my coworkers. Something like that, you know? But no, you had to say that you have better things to do on the weekend than to get drunk or like, you know, whatever. That was everything with her. She would talk like she was up here. And one thing about me is, if that's the energy you give, my love, please don't give me something to talk about. Please don't give me something to talk about. And that's exactly what it was with her. You want to sit here and you want to act like you're Miss Kim K and you're so much better than everybody. Why are you driving a 1942 Pontiac? That doesn't even work. Y'all, we could hear her coming down the street. So it's like, why are you acting like you're Miss Ferrari and that Pontiac says differently, you know? And then she would just do that where it was like, you act like you're so much better than everybody, but this is tea. You're asking our manager to like put your paycheck earlier because you don't have no money. If I don't have no money, I would just shut up. Like, and I feel like people that, like, the girls that get it, and the girls that don't. But it's just like, if you want to humble other people, when I tell you your roof better not be made of not one piece of glass, because when I tell you, I'm going to be the one to throw the rocks through them, because you need to be humbled. Like, why are you talking about people like that? Which we're going to get to that. So that was just, you know, her thing. So now I'm starting to understand why people make fun of her, because you really give people stuff to make fun of you for. Like, you're not a nice person, you're not like fun to talk to, and you're not fun to be around. So it makes sense. Now it's clicking to me, and now I started experiencing her in ways that I did not like. One being, I was the apprentice. Okay, cool. I would sweep up people's hair, I would shampoo, I would do all that kind of stuff. Now, this is where I say the nice, nasty stuff comes in. She would not talk to me. Not one time. She would not speak to me. She would not be cool with me. She would give me her side eyes and stank faces. She would do all that. But then when I would be working like as the apprentice and I would just be up front, like not doing anything, she would come up to me and she would be like, hey, can I borrow you for a second? I just really need some help real quick. And I'm like, yeah, what's up? And she'll be like, I'm running so behind right now. Do you mind doing like the final touches on my client? And like, if you don't know, Aveda does these final touches thing. They try to make us do it for so many times. And I guess this was like the time period that they were trying to enforce this, where you would offer a customer like a spray of their nasty smelling perfume or their chakras. You would spray that, or you would give them lipstick, or you would just, you know, give them a little bit of blush. It was honestly so stupid, but we had to do it because we were in a Veda concept salon. So she was like, hey, can you do like a finishing touch for my client? And I hated those because, first of all, I'm not a makeup artist. I don't know like how many times I have to tell people that. Just because I can do makeup on myself does not mean I can do it on other people. It doesn't mean I want to. So she asked me to do that, and because I'm the apprentice, I was just like, okay, whatever, like I'm gonna do it. So I did her first client, and I would just like, you know, put the lipstick, be real awkward, and you know, do that whole situation. And then I started noticing that she like kept asking me to do it. The first time it was because you're running late. The second time is because your other client's already here. The third time it was just like back and forth or whatever. So one day she asked me to do it because she was running late, and I do the finishing touch. I check her client out and I go to the break room. Why is this girl sitting in a chair on her phone? So I asked her, I was like, oh, you weren't running behind or something? And she was like, oh, it's just like, I was just doing something. Like, she couldn't come up with an excuse. So she started saying like, you know, and so I'm still kind of new and I'm still trying to like get the vibes. And like, obviously this is my workspace, so I can't really react the way I want to react, but I like a mental note, like, all right, like, so Gretchen was also our like social media person, and like, this is like a whole video coming for her, but it's like, you came for me, so I get to tell my story. So she was the social media person for our salon. Now, my salon was giving it wasn't a small town, but it gave very small town mentality, in which like they were modern, but the manager and like the owner and stuff, like they didn't know much about social media. So Miss Gretchen really believed that she was an influencer. And I'm talking about influencer starter pack, like the preset filters, the 1,000 hashtags, and like your stereotypical wannabe influencer. Like that was her. Mind you, this is what I'm saying. She would say that she was an influencer. She would say that. You would go to her Instagram and she only has 1,000 followers. Who are you influencing, ma'am? Because the rest of us have 1,000 followers. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like the girls that get it. Like, don't sit here and say that you're some Instagram like influence. Okay, y'all know this whole debacle that's going on with Bria and all them on TikTok. She is specs and blazers. Oh my God. Gretchen was specs and blazers. That is the best way I can describe her.
One thing you will always hear about Specs and Blazers is that she's a fearless networker. And also, she doesn't hang out with influencers. And I did that on purpose, because why would I do that?
What are you talking about? Like, I just made myself tickled by the whole Specs and Blazers thing. But that was Gretchen. So she acted like she just knew everything about social media and blah, 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 blah. Like, it was her thing. So I had posted, because my manager wanted us posting our work and stuff. I had posted one of my clients who, I wouldn't say it was like a client gone wrong. I think I might do a story time on that one actually, because that lady was pissed with me. She was hot. So I might just do a video on that. But to make a long story short, the lady asked for a cherry dark red like look, and I gave her that, and she swore that it was black. Who cares? Fast forward, I took a picture of the lady's hair, and I was really more focused on the haircut, not so much the actual color, because I didn't really care about the color. It was more so about the haircut, because I did like a really stacked bob, like your old school stacked bob, right? So I posted a picture of that, and the caption was ace, and then like the actual ace emoji, and it was black. So I had put that on my Instagram, and I was just sitting at the front desk, and I was like, I think I was like scrolling through my page or something like that. And she's like, oh, you have like an Instagram page like for your hair? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, oh, can I see it? And so she's like trying to like look through my pictures, and basically she's like trying to give me pointers and critiques or whatever. And she was like, oh, wasn't that like that cherry red color that lady asked for? And I was like, yeah, I just put ace with a black emoji because in the picture, it did look black. It was not black in person, but the picture and the lighting, it didn't come out the way the color was. But because I wasn't really focused on the color, I was more so focused on the haircut. I didn't really care what the color was. I wasn't advertising the color. I was advertising the cut. And she was like, well, I just think that's kind of weird, because if I was your client and I asked you for like a cherry red and I got mad because I said it was black, and you posted my hair and you said ace, like implying that it was black, like I just feel like that's weird. As if I asked you. Like, what? So that's what I'm talking about. She did stuff like that all the time, bro. Like, it would just be like, no one asked you. Now I see why people don't like you, girl. Like, literally now I see why people don't like you. So it would be situations like that where I just stopped talking to her. I did not acknowledge her. We just did not speak to each other, because I just find you weird. So those situations would happen where I would just be like, you know what, I don't even want nothing to do with this girl, because you just give me all the reasons why. Like, now I know why people don't like you, and you continue to give me reasons why I should not like you either. So in the salon, I would like to say, I'm not gonna say I made men's cuts popular, but people didn't really do men's cuts like that. And I actually like brought in like clippers, because mind you, I worked at a barbershop because I actually wanted to do men's hair for like a long time. So I came from a barbershop. I had barbering tools, like the stuff that they used at the barbershop. So I had clippers, I had trimmers, I had the really nice cordless clippers. I had the whole set. Like, my stuff was stacked up, and I always kept it really, really nice. So one day, I'm not there, okay? I stopped by to pick up my paycheck, and I see Gretchen using my clippers. And so I go to Gretchen, and I was like, hey, are those my clippers? And she was like, oh yeah, so-and-so, my manager, told me that I could use them. And now this is what I'm saying. Like, my manager's kind of like in La La Land sometimes, where it was like, I went to my manager and I was like, hey, did you tell Gretchen that she could use my clippers? And she was like, yeah, she just really needed them. She came up to me and she said that you had some, and I told her that she could just go ahead and use it, just because, you know, like, we're all on the same team. Like, that was my manager. And like, I know you're annoyed. I was annoyed, but that was my manager's mentality, that like everybody could just use everybody's stuff. And like, I didn't go at Gretchen because my manager told her to do it, and it was just like a weird situation, you know what I mean? Where I'm like, I'm looking at my manager funny, because I'm like, girl, you did not pay for those. Those were not yours. Like, what in the world? So she was like, she's like, yeah, I told her to. Was like, is that a problem? Like, do you not want people to use your stuff? Like, I just figured that it's okay since we're all on the same team, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, honestly, I would just prefer like she not use my stuff, but I'm not going to say anything because you already told her and she's in the middle of using it. So it just is what it is. So the next day, she was like, hey, thanks for letting me use your clippers. She put everything back and she said, hey, thanks you for letting me use your clippers. If you ever need like any of my tools, you can use them too. So I'm thinking, okay, like we have like an olive branch. Like, Fine. I did not let you use my clippers. My manager let you use my clippers, but neither here nor there. Like, we are gonna move forward. Mind you, this is my first salon. This is my first big girl job. So I want to make it positive. So it's like, you know what? If using my clippers and me using your curling iron is gonna bring us together, like, so be it. Right. So another thing about this girl was she was so freaking cheap, bro. Oh my God. Just to say, because this comes in, right? So we would have, like, my manager would buy us all pizza on Friday, okay? So one day she said that she was going to the gas station because she was going to get herself something to drink. My manager was like, hey, can you get me a Pepsi? And my manager, I'm telling you, my manager, she's indirectly messy, but neither here nor there. Her intentions were good, okay? She did not. I know y'all are going to be like, no, your manager's wrong. I know, but, like, her intentions were always pure. And she's just one of those people, like, she really does not see wrong in people. And she's just, like, really, really nice. So that's why, I think that's why she gets away with a lot of things that she does. Because if she was anybody else, she would have been cussed out. But my manager was like, hey, can you get me a Pepsi? And she tells me and the other stylist, she was like, hey, Gretchen's going to the gas station. She's going to grab me a Pepsi. Do you guys want anything? Okay, right? So this is my mentality. My manager was the one that offered that. And so I guess this can kind of go both ways, right? We can kind of go both ways. Gretchen, I don't know if she offered to pick something up for her or whatever. I don't know if my manager just offered her time or whatever. I don't really know what the story is. All I said was, hey, can you get me a can of Coke? Because the gas station that we worked next to had, like, basic cans of Cokes. So I was like, hey, can you get me a can of Coke? Right? Now, it is your prerogative. Fine, whatever. My manager was the one that volunteered you to get us our stuff. Cool. This girl actually came up to me and told me that I owed her $1 for the can of Coke. Okay, fine. Like, fine. That's the type of person that we're dealing with, okay? She actively came up to me for 4 25-cent quarters. This girl came up to me. And I know that, dude, I'm not joking. They were at the gas station for 75 cents because it wasn't like a chain gas station. It was like one of those, like, you know, gas stations. So it was like cheaper stuff. So they're selling canned Coke. Because I remember, because I used to go there every single day to get myself a can of Coke for 75 cents. You are really going to charge me a whole $1? That is crazy. And you're going to come up to me so confidently and be like, hey, do you have that $1 for your Coke? That's literally what she said. So, right? So she's actively using my clippers and everything. Like, she's grabbing them out of the drawer, asking me if she can use them. She takes them, whatever, cool. So I start, you know, grabbing her curling iron because she had a Babyliss one. And it was like a good curling iron. It was like the perfect size. And I had already spent so much money on all this stuff. So I was like, you know what? If she's offering hers, I'm going to use hers. And she's using my stuff, so I'm going to use her stuff. So you know, we are borrowing each other's things, okay? So then something happened with this. Okay, no, time out. I'm going too ahead of myself. She had her curling iron. Yes, I would use it every now and again. I would take it and I would bring it back. She was actively using the curling iron where I guess the spark, I don't know, like the outlet in her thing stopped working. I don't really know what the story was, but the curling iron stopped working, okay? So she has to buy a new one, okay? That's your equipment. Whether or not, like, it is what it is, girl. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but her curling iron stopped working. She went to my manager and told my manager that either the salon needs to compensate her for a new curling iron or I need to compensate her for a new curling iron, because this either happened because of the circuit within the plug that she used in the salon, or because it was being overused since I was using it so often. So either our manager needed to compensate her, or she was going to tell me that I needed to get her a new curling iron. Right? So my manager tells me that. My manager probably should not have told me that, but she did. Well, I guess she did have to tell me that because my manager was letting me know that she was not going to get compensated. Like, the salon is not responsible because, and especially like our salon too, because had you went about it a different type of way, if you went to our manager and it was like, hey, my curling iron stopped working. If I get a new one, can you guys like pay for half of it or something? Cause like if you would have came about it in that kind of way, I'm 100% believe that my manager would have just bought you a new one or given you the money for the replacement one. I put my hand on fire that my manager would have done that. It was the way that she went about it, and that's her problem. Like, she was just so rude. Oh my God. So my manager told me that they were not compensating her for the curling iron. So don't be surprised if Gretchen came up to me asking me to pay for her new curling iron. So we had a meeting probably like a couple of days afterwards or whatever. And at the meeting, I addressed it. I was like, hey, I just want to let you guys know we are not like, don't use my stuff anymore. I'm not letting anybody, I'm not going to use your stuff. So please don't use any of mine. I'm not sharing. All bets are off when it comes to my stuff. Please don't use my stuff. Which they actually, like, one of the guys at the salon, he would always make fun of me for that. He's like, all bets are off. Don't use my stuff. Because that's exactly what I said. Because I was so pissed that you would even fix your mouth to sit here and say that I'm like, either the salon is supposed to compensate you or I'm supposed to compensate. Girl, bye. And so ever since then, I really had a disdain for her. Like, oh my God, the way I had the disdain for this girl, because you have lost your mind. Like, you are not here on planet Earth with us. So just don't. I like said what I had to say about the clippers, and after that, me and her did not, like, we did not interact. I did not speak with her. I did not talk to her. And now, mind you, during this time, this was when the story time of that girl and her boyfriend, they were like arguing. He was like, I'm your daddy now. That story time. So we did not speak to each other, and we had like beef with one another. And that's when that happened too. So I would catch her saying these slick comments about the models that I would bring in. Basically, she was trying to say the people that I brought in were like ghetto and ratchet and whatever, which was not true, but neither here nor there. As if she is one to talk because I know where she lived. So that's very funny of you to speak down on people where we're comparing neighborhoods, ma'am. Anyway. So she would say like slick stuff about the models that I would have. And she would also say things about my men's cuts. Because there was a time, this was another, I guess this could be another story time. There was a guy that came in, my manager gave him to me. He had baby fine hair. And I tried to do a regular like clippers cut, like a barber shop style cut on his hair. Like, I try to fade it, and he has baby fine hair, so like it just didn't work out. And like another one of my coworkers had to fix the haircut. She basically made a comment that I should learn how to do like everybody's hair and not like urban style. Mind you, just to preface this, she's not white. Like, oh my God, she was Hispanic, okay? She was white passing, but baby love, you are not white. So why you kept like, I'm telling you, that's the stuff that I'm talking about, because my manager, she was Panamanian, who cares? So my manager was like, oh yeah, Samantha's Puerto Rican, like you guys might have something in common, microaggression, but never mind. She'd be like, oh, Samantha's Puerto Rican, so you guys would have so much in common, blah, 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 blah. Like, and she would literally look at me like, no, like, not your kind. Like, we might be the same, but like I'm not that kind of Hispanic, like I'm not that kind of Latina, and whatever, like that's the vibes that she would give off. So when she made those comments, I'm just like, what are you trying to say, girl? Like, what is it? What are you trying to say with me? And I would talk slick to her back, because like So we had tension between each other. And at that point, like, when I get to that point, I'm a very nice person and I'm very friendly. But when I don't like you, I'm going to make you understand that I don't like you. And we will never be cool. And that's exactly the attitude that I gave her. When she would speak, I would just roll my eyes. When she would say something, I would just ignore her. I was giving her very much the vibes that she gave up front. I was giving them right back to her. 10 times worse, to be honest. Y'all, no lie, she would get into it with everybody. She would get into it with everybody. The other guy that worked at our salon, they had their little frenemies thing going on. And one day he told her something. He was like, oh yeah, like, next time you can do this with your client. And she was like, okay, you're not the know-it-all of everything. And it was just so uncalled for. Like, it wasn't like, why are you being that way? Like, why do you always respond the way that you do? Like, weird. So because of all the things that she's done this entire time, right? I'm only like highlighting stuff that's like kind of worth talking about, right? There was so much more stuff, so many comments that she would say, so many things that she would do, where it was like, first of all, how are you trying to microaggress me when we are basically the same, girl? Like, what? So this dude, I put the story time on private because I was so tired of explaining myself. But the story time about how, I forgot what that story time was called. I'm referencing a lot of story times. Anyway, it was the guy that, like, he liked me too much, but then when I told him to slow down, he like told me we were just friends, but whatever. So him, right? We had gone out on a few dates, but he had came to get his mom's hair done by me. And so when he came to the salon, he saw that I worked with Gretchen. And so when we went on a date, he was like, I didn't know that you worked with Gretchen. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I can't stand her. And I was like, really? Because he was friends with everybody. Like, that man was cool with everybody. So I'm like, really? And his personality isn't even the type for him to say that he doesn't like somebody, like, meant something, because I'm like, wait a second, like, you like everybody, you don't have issues with anybody. So when I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, she's so fake and she's just weird, she just be hanging around high schoolers because nobody her age likes her, because they went to school together, they were the same age. So I'm just like, oh, so you're just all the way around, you're just like a bad person. Mind you, she would be on Facebook and Instagram and all this other stuff. I never added her, but I would go on there because I just wanted to see what she had to say. Well, first I was curious because she was Miss Influencer. So I'm just like, okay, let's see what you got. Nothing. And when I went on there, everything is like Bible scriptures. It's all about, oh, come see us tonight. It's an all youth event. We're going to be, you know, spreading the word of God in a fun way. You know how it goes, where they have the laser and the light shows and they want, you know, all the kids for Jesus. Y'all know how it is. So she would always post stuff like that. And he mentioned that. He was like, that's all she posts and stuff, but she's a bad person. And it really was true. Like, she was not a kind person at all. So neither here nor there. Me and her did not like each other. I was giving her the same energy. And honestly, I was laying it on thick, because when I don't like you, I just don't like you. And we are gonna, like, I just can't hide it. Like, I just want you to know every single day that you pushed me to this point. So yeah, we would get into it sometimes. And like, I would say slick stuff to her, she would say slick stuff to me, and it would just go back and forth. Mind you, I don't do things unprovoked. First of all, you brought me to this point, why all the actions that you did, but also I didn't like stick my foot out when she was walking and be like, ha ha ha, like, I didn't do stuff like that. So it was just like, I would stay away from you, but at the same time, like, when you would say something dumb, I would say something smart, like. So that was just our thing. I never went out of my way to like bully her. I never did anything like that. Why did my manager ask me to come to work a little bit early the next day? It was like one random day. She asked me to go like to work early the next day. I'm thinking it's because like she needs me to open, or I'm thinking like I'm thinking anything, but she was like, oh, can you just come like 15 minutes earlier? So I'm like, okay, cool. I go to work 15 minutes earlier before like I was supposed to be there. My manager is basically just talking to me, and she's like, hey, like, how's it been? Like, because mind you, this now is probably like 3 months in. Like, I was comfortable. And so my manager just basically asked me, she's like, hey, like, so how have you been dealing with everything? How have you been feeling? How have you been liking the clients? Blah, blah, blah. She's just talking to me regular. And so I'm just letting her know, like, yeah, I'm cool. And she's like, how do you feel about, like, you know, like our coworkers? And she was just giving me names. And I'm like, yeah, like, they're cool. I have no complaints. Like, I've, you know, been chilling, whatever. And like, my manager was just one of those people you could just talk regular to. Like, there was no HR, which there probably should have been, but you know, you could just talk to her regular. And she was like, okay, well, that's awesome. Like, I just, you know, wanted to do a temperature check, see how everything's been. And, you know, I just wanted to, you know, bring something up to you really quickly. And I was like, okay, what's up? And she was like, so, Gretchen, you know, I know that you guys just don't see eye to eye and you guys have really different personalities. I know how Gretchen can be. But the only thing that I just want to let you know is that, like, can you just not be so, like, intimidating towards her? And I was like, I said my manager's name, so let's just say my manager's name is Susie. I'm like, Susie, what? And she's like, I'm just using the verbiage that she used. She, you know, mentioned to me that she feels like there's always tension between you guys. She just doesn't understand why you don't like her. She's asked multiple of our coworkers why you just don't like her and why you treat her differently. And she just brought to our attention that she feels like you kind of like intimidate her and you speak to her and do things as a form of intimidation. First of all, what? I'm intimidating you. If you are not the boy who cried wolf, actually no, not even the boy who cried wolf, you are the wolf in sheep's clothing. What do you mean? You feel like you don't know why I don't like you. You have no idea why I don't like you. And you feel as if though I go out of my way to do things to intimidate you. First of all, girl, you are not that special. Second of all, are you really that weak, bro? You can't stand a little tussle. You can't stand a little heat. I didn't even put it on 100 the way I could have. I was really just being, you know, like, I thought we were just having fun. And you are gonna go, after all the things that you've done, all the things that you've said, you are gonna go tell on me. Now you wanna be a tattletale at your grown age. You are almost 10 years older than me, and you are gonna go to our manager and say that I'm the one intimidating you? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm not the rest of these people that will talk bad about you behind your back and smile in your face. I'm giving you the exact same energy you give me, and I give you the exact same energy that I give behind closed doors, ma'am. Like, this was crazy. I decided, I looked at my manager, I'm like, are you serious? And she was like, I'm just letting you know that I just want to make sure everything is copacetic. I just want us, you know, just to be able to, you know, remember we're all on the same team, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, what did she say that I did that was so intimidating? Like, what am I doing? Because I told her that I'm not going to pay for her curling iron. She's not allowed to use my stuff because I just tell her exactly the things that she tells me back. I just respond. Because I don't let her just do whatever she wants around me, and I don't sit here and pretend like I like her. That's me intimidating you. I was like, what? And you know what the example that she used out of everything I said, y'all? Do you know the example that she used? When she asked me for the stupid $1 for the freaking can of Coke, right? When she asked me for the $1, when she asked me for the stupid $1, I laughed because I was just like, okay, like whatever. I gave her the $1, mind you, I did give her the $1, right? But when she gave it to her, I was like, oh, you charge a traveling fee. Because I knew that the freaking Coke was 75 cents. And she like charged me $1, which, are you that broke?
If that broke, you need to steal $5?
Yes. You that broke, you need it back.
Like, what? And so I was just like, what? And so when I told her that, I was like, I gave her the $1 and I was like, oh, you charge a traveling fee. That's funny. And I gave her the stupid $1. That was me intimidating her. That's the example out of all the things that I said to you that you could have kind of used. You used the $1 example. Like, are you serious right now? And after that, I was like, girl, bye. Like, I'm never speaking to you again. Like, I'm gonna look through you. I'm not even gonna look away because that's acknowledging that I saw you. I'm gonna look straight into your direction and I'm gonna look through your soul. I'm gonna act like what is in front of me. Like, and that's exactly what I did. And oh my God. So finally, to wrap this story up, I prayed, I wished on a shooting star that this girl would leave. Like, I just could not stand her. And it just got to the point where like her presence was just so annoying. I couldn't deal with her. It was, and especially after the whole intimidation thing, I'm like, wow, you're really like annoying. Like, I really didn't like you before, but oh girl, it's so thick now. And so I prayed, like I said, I wished upon a star. I did everything that I could possibly do. And this girl moved because she decided to go into full-time ministry, right? This same girl decided to go into full-time ministry and she moved across the country. So for those of you that don't think God is real, that is my testimony. Because that girl literally moved across the country like 2 weeks after that. And I just could not have been happier. I've never, like, I don't know where she is now. I don't care. I just saw that she came up on someone you might know on my Facebook. And I was like, you know what? I didn't even know what kind of video I wanted to make when I came back from Tennessee. But this was a perfect one because I had to tell you about this. People are not real. Like, this is not real. I don't even know what planet we're on. We are on a simulation. No one's going to convince me otherwise because this is not real. Y'all, like, what? Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And I'm telling you, I have not even said the entirety of the mess that she would pull. But neither here nor there. This video is already long enough, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I didn't come off too crazy and ranty and just, you know, whatever. But I just want to let you guys know about the most annoying. She tops Matilda. Matilda was annoying, but that's neither here nor there. Gretchen was on a whole new level. Gretchen made Matilda look like Susie Homemaker. No, that was not a good example. She made her look like Martha Stewart. Anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.